Well, hello there, everybody. I was having to try to get a few things adjusted there for a second. What you saw on the screen was a couple of little sketches I did this morning. I'm not anyway I am by no means and never have claimed to be like an actual. I guess I am an artist in a way because I have a creative mind and I have some sort of sensibility of, you know, what looks good and don't, but everybody has different opinions, you know. But over the past little while, there was just somewhere at the beginning of the year, or earlier in the year, I started attempting to just see, you know, if I was to take and spend a little more time. It might not be a lot of time, but I try several times a week. I find myself pulling out my sketchbook and just having fun with seeing what I can do, whether it's out of my imagination or looking at something and drawing it from, memory. So if you didn't recognize what I'd seen there or what I had up there, let me show you. This one is, and I drew all these within just a few short seconds this morning. Hopefully you can hear me and everything. I already had this up there. I don't know how I can make this any bigger. I don't know if y'all can really see it very well, but it's a mouse basically. You have a mouse there, and you can tell on the arm I made it where it looks like a sleeve, so like it's dressed. Got a little belt around him, and I turned it into like a little backpack on his pack. I've recently discovered something called Mouse Guard in the comic book world and stuff, which is an older series, I guess. And then I'm not even sure if they're still even making any more of them. I know that you can get collected editions and everything. And what I've got is my first actual book of a collected bunch of different stories called Mouse Guard: The Legends of the Mouse Guard, Legends of the Mouse Guard. So because and then earlier this year, or like when I think it was sometime last year, at some point I was just, every once in a while I still would just pull out stuff and maybe do a little weird sketching and stuff. I dabble with like trying to do something visually with some of my crappy like acrylic paints and stuff. I don't know. I've done, but I had like this idea of, I just pulled up some images of mice and rats at some point between the end of last year and the beginning of this year, and like just started trying to draw rats for some reason, and I didn't even know about Mouse Guard at the time. So let me see here. Okay, so I apologize. See, what's going on here? Huh. Okay. So I'm not sure how this works. I'm streaming this over to X also. I did that one time before, and I was on here with somebody was on here with me. Like I had a guest on. And I know, like, when people were in the chat, I believe if someone's in the chat, it'll show me if you're from X or you're from YouTube. Because I have it streaming to my YouTube channel also. The only thing about, I noticed if I'm on X, I can't type into the chat. On YouTube, like with Restream, I'm using Restream. I can type into my own chat on YouTube. Like if I type into the chat right now, any information I wanted to put out or anything, it'll show up on YouTube. I don't believe it'll show up in y'all's chat if you're chatting or say anything on X. So that being said, I appreciate any of you that are watching. And the thing is, also, I don't know how. I really don't know how X. I'm hoping that if you stop viewing, it'll stop showing me having as many people watching. But I don't know how it works. A lot of times I don't do this. I don't stream to both platforms because, you know, if I'm trying to build the YouTube channel, it makes more sense for me to schedule it on a YouTube channel, post a link and share it on my X and try to get people over there to subscribe. It seems like we might be lagging here a little bit. I feel like something is, let me see. Let me try something real quick. Okay, we'll see if that makes it any better. Okay. And so this morning I'm just like winging it as normal. But I did put in the description if you wanted to bring up a topic, you want to ask me a question. If you have something going on that you just want to bring up and you just say, I'm having a bad day or I'm having a good day or whatever, you're welcome to say whatever you want in the chat. And if you don't feel like talking, that's also pretty cool too. You know, if you're watching, you're watching. If you ain't, you ain't. You know, big deal. Now, what do I want to do? I think this morning I'm just kind of. I didn't expect to even be on here yet this morning, but you know, a couple of days ago we did a stream. Started it early in the day. Went 3 hours, a little over 3 hours. But I had somebody on with me, Mr. Self-Destruct. Shout out to him. Stimulated Cynic came on also. And both of those people you can find on X. I'm trying to remember. I think Stimulated Cynic is under Stimulated Cynic if you look him up. Those are people from the comic book community. Some they follow Comicsgate, and they also follow other stuff that's not just Comicsgate. But you know, I have a lot of different type of people I associate with and know. So, like in case you don't know, I mean, I do. In the past few years, I started getting back into comics. I never stopped liking comics. I just had not had a collection in years, and it's been really since like in this past year that I really, really kind of amped up. You know, collecting stuff. I try to back a few people if I can within a year, whether it be that I'm actually backing it while it's still crowdfunding, or if it's already came out and they are selling it after the fact. I still try to support anybody that has something interesting that they're promoting and creating, and especially if it's a creator that I've been following for a while, like a comic book writer or artist. And but a lot of what I've been buying is I love exploring different reviews for older comics that have came out in the past 20 years that when I wasn't actively even thinking about them, they came out, they're already done, they've been out, and I catch and see some of the different channels kind of talking about other things and collected editions. And if it seems like it might be something I'm interested in, I'll go to eBay and I can find them for pretty cheap. So it's like I can have fun with it without spending too much money. You know, last year, like I'd gotten back into toys a few years ago too, collected toys. And that was kind of, you know, at first it wasn't that big a deal. When I first got back into collecting toys, I started off just finding stuff at, hey Betty, what's up? Betty Spaghetti. Well, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's going all right. I had anyway, I had, you know, somebody on X messaged me at some small account that had followed me. I looked at their account recently. They seem to be interested in comic books and stuff. they were following about 5 or 6 people that I'm associated with that I either follow or actually interact with pretty regular or see their posts. And so that I was like, okay, this person might be cool. I followed, and like, I think I followed them yesterday back. I don't know when they followed me. Instant. This morning I had a DM, I hope you're doing all right. Hey, it's like, okay, well, make your case. Like if I just followed you back and you're going to put a DM, you're going to DM me without, you better have like, come at me straightforward. Come out and be like, this is why I'm DMing you. I know you don't know me. If you got business you're trying to promote, I can quickly tell you, I ain't got the money. I'm not interested. If it's somebody interested in actually getting to know somebody and wanting to be their friend and actually like that, I'm willing to have a damn conversation. I'm good about to clean and was just scrolling. Cool. I understand that. But so like, it was like it was like, they said, hello, hope you're doing all right. And I was like, okay, I'll bite. That's what I messaged back. I said, I'll bite. And then I was just like, I told him I was doing all right or something. And then I just went into it. I was like, look, their next question was, I hope you don't mind me messaging. I said, no, I don't care if you message me. I said, but if you're here trying, like, because they had they're claiming to be like a 3D printing artist and they do this stuff. It's a very small account, just created last year. I only saw one thing of theirs. Everything else was repost, So I was like, I just basically said, because I've had this happen before where it wasn't necessarily, I don't know if they were scammers or a legit artist, but because I'm in the comic book community, I think they thought, okay, well, this guy might be a creator and he might want to, because like, I was just like, I said, look, I get people in my DMs all the time. They're either trying to pretend to be a real person and it's a bot, or it's like not who they really seem to be in the pictures and on their profile. They're either fishing, they're a scammer, or they just, it's like I said. And then I also get people that come in pretty quickly in my DMs from the comic book community. And the only reason I follow them is because they're following some people with me. And then they're like, hey, I do this. Do you need an artist? Do you need this? Like this guy thought I had some kind of creation I wanted turned into a 3D model. And I was like, dude, you never saw it. I said, the art that I do is very crude. I'm not really a visual artist. So there's no way that he saw a picture of mine and thought it'd be great to turn into a 3D model. Yeah, I don't give them personal information either. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? It's like, because I told him, I said, if you're here, like before all this went on, I said, if you're here to try to sell me something, I'm not interested. If you're here to have a real conversation, I'm cool. But it still went into what they were trying to do. And as soon as they said this, listen to this. This is how you know it's a scam. When he started, I said, look, just be straightforward. If you got a question, lead with a question. Don't just come in and acting like you're really being a good person and wanting to sincerely see how my fucking day is going. And then straight into some kind of, hey, I do 3D printing and shit. And do you got anything you want to 3D print? Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know what I mean? So when they commented after a couple of pictures of their supposed work with those pictures, they said, I couldn't scam you doing what I love. Well, that's obviously a scammer. Well, I couldn't scam you for doing what I love to do. Okay. So I did what I normally don't. I mean, like a lot of people won't block anybody, but if I get that, when it's an account like that, I'm gonna fucking block it. I don't want the headache. I toyed around with them for like, the conversation went on for maybe 5 minutes. And then it was like, okay, this is bullshit. I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that this might be a real person that's a small account that really likes comic books, that is friends with a few people I'm friends with. And I thought, they just want to. They just need. They're just trying to make connections. Well, the fact the account was made back in 24 and it's about a year old and there's only 150 something people following it is also a fucking good sign. Anyway, let's get on. Let's move on with that. So, Betty, before you showed up, I was going to let me show you this again. Anybody else that's watching, we got some people watching from the platform X because I'm streaming over to X also. I'm going to show you this little sketch that I did this morning. Anybody else that's watching has already seen it probably. Well, the reason I blocked it is because it was an obvious scammer. I don't care. Like, if I think the account is obviously a scam, like if people follow me, I go to their account and I can obviously tell, is this a bot account? This is a fake account. I'm not going to follow back. And a lot of times to just clear up the mess, I'll block some of them because I don't need them. That's the reason I do it. If I think it's a legit account, then I'm going to follow it back. If they're cool, if they're not trying to like solicit me and shit or being rude to me and they want, Oh, but that's a mouse right there with like a backpack and like a little belt on and stuff. So, yeah, I would prefer not to block anybody. But when I'm on X, I am constantly bombarded with a lot of accounts. I mean, I know I have a lot of fake accounts following me. That's a big problem there. A lot of bot accounts and all that kind of stuff, So let me remove that. Trying to keep my eye on if anybody might come into the studio. Believe we're down to one person now, and that must be you. Had a few people watching from the platform X, and I guess they kind of tuned out. That's cool though, The thing about that is like streaming to both platforms. Anybody watching from the X platform, it doesn't count as a view on YouTube, because they're two different platforms. But I understand there's people over on X that probably watch YouTube videos and stuff, but their main jam is their main social media consumption and interaction is X. So be it. Yeah, mouse with a backpack. I was saying to everybody earlier, it's because I've recently discovered Mouse Guard, Legends of Mouse Guard. This is my first real introduction to it as far as owning anything. But I discovered that this was a series of some sort. Now, it's like set back more in an older Earth history, back in, I guess, the medieval times, kind of. And then, of course, the mice are more human-like. They have swords and all kinds of stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And this particular collection right here, so the actual creator and artist, the writer and the artist of the book apparently is the person that created the universe. But this book is a collection of I don't know how many stories is in it, but he opened up he let a bunch of different artists come up with little short stories that fit into the Mouse Guard world, but it's called Legends because of the way it's set up. They're like at a tavern. It's pretty cool. So that being said, you can bet your whatever that I will be getting some of the actual other Mouse Guard volumes that are the original. I don't know how much in here is. There's got to be some of his art in here, I think, probably in the bridging part between the two, all the different stories. I think his art is when they're at the tavern. And then it leads up to each mouse telling a story. And then it goes into, it's really cool. And it's very adult, or the story's real mature and stuff. It's not so mature that a kid could, but you know what I'm saying? There's violence in it. There's romance, there's it's like you're reading stories about real people, but they're just mice. So this morning, I just was like, man, I was like, I hadn't sketched in a while. I wrote yesterday a little bit, I shared that and everything. I'm real bad about procrastinating, but this morning, I was like, man, I'm going to draw a mouse, and I'm going to draw one. I wanted to draw a mouse with a sword in its hand, and I only doodled around for about 5 or 10 minutes because I drew a couple of other things. Drew another mouse that's like drinking a soda, I believe. Oh, okay. Well, my channel, I made a video for my second channel today. I believe I think you know about Great Cloud Stalks also. I don't know. There's 95 people subscribed. I made that channel last year when I got a community strike and couldn't upload for a week. And then I think I was limited on certain things for a couple of weeks. And then a strike will come down after 90 days, but I went in and made a second channel. I'd been meaning to. I was like, I need a backup channel. Like if I get another strike, I can go over there. Soda pop mouse, yeah. Let me see. I'll show you that real quick. But I can talk. Let me show you. Basically, what was I talking about? So the second channel, when I created it, I was like, well, I'm going to take my love for comics over to the second channel mainly. See, that little mouse. At first, I was going to put a sword or a knife in its hand, but I had the arm drew a little too close to the mouth. And then I kind of just turned it into a cup with a straw. So that's kind of what I did there. I think I've left it up long enough, hadn't I? Oh, I do post some videos from over there. So what I was going to say is, I think in the community right now, I think I put that video in my Great Cloudy Day community. My point being is that video, Betty, that video I made because it's been a while since I've done like a video. I called my second channel Great Cloud Thoughts because I want, at some point, once it grows, that's where I'll talk about maybe some pop culture, like comic books, movies, music. But I also just wanted to maybe have that where I discuss some of the things going on in the news, whether that be political or whatever. I just never have really put a lot of work into it. And I did make some videos commenting on a few things. Like I made but over the past few weeks, I've been like, kind of like, as you know, I've struggled in the past few months and I've had some periods where I was really slacking. So as I'm getting back things together, I'm just kind of learning. I'm thinking my main focus is going to be on my main channel. And so I made an update video today. Yeah. Soda. Well, I was just like, I am going to attempt to draw a mouse and have it have a sword or something in its hand at some point. But so that being said, I just made a video like explaining to people from the second channel because there are like I'd say half the subscribers came from here, and then the other half are people that have just discovered my shorts and stuff. So I need to go. All I really ever have catch is your little shorts. I haven't really looked in a while to see if there's any longer video where you might be doing. I'll go and look and see what you might have done that I hadn't really. Anyway, I feel like I'm being long-winded here. Yeah, I understand. Well, believe it or not, me getting on a stream is actually productive for me because, I spend a large portion of my time sometimes putting shit off and everything. So if I'm not going to be doing much of any, like, let's say if I had something I really had to be doing right now, I wouldn't be streaming. But if I wasn't streaming, I might be doing something and I might not. So if I was just going to be sitting here doing nothing for a little while, I thought, let me interact with some people. Yeah, I see your community wall some. I hit like on those all the time. I really like a lot of your posts. So, but I understand. Yeah, my sister spends Saturdays all day cleaning her house, doing clothes because she works all week and stuff. Now that's if she's off on Saturdays. Like I think she gets every other Saturday off. Matter of fact, it is Saturday, and I haven't talked to her in probably. It's been a couple months, probably a month since I've texted her. I might text her today, see if she's working. Because if she ain't working, I might try to arrange to talk to her for a little while, like touch base with her. If there was any problems, my sister would have let me know. So anybody that's watching, I appreciate everybody watching. Yeah, I remember that you talked about your son. I've seen him a couple of times in videos and stuff. Right. It's like always got to be on point. I imagine with children and whether they're autistic or not, even just a child in general. But when someone's got a little bit of something where they have ish. I've had plenty of friends that are autistic, like all wide ranges of. You know what I'm saying? Like from the most extreme to the most mild functional. So a lot of people, it's like if you've never been around too many people that were that way and stuff. Like one of my bestest of friends, that's like a little brother to me, Anthony. Yeah, in North Carolina, people never understood him. He just was quirky, and he didn't like people to invade his space too much. So if he was talking to you, and you would step in and be a little too close, he'd step back. He's like, and people, it's just like he was a good dude, real good dude. It's just, you know how it is. People thought he's weird, but we're all weird, ain't we? Have a good day, Betty. Appreciate you stopping by. It's yeah, yeah. Oh, real quick before you go, it's weird that every time I pop in and actually say something in Matt's chat, if he acknowledges me, he always seems to, I think he thinks that I am like, he always relates everything because I do Jesus calling videos as if I'm like yesterday in the stream, Matt was like, talking about who's the chosen people and stuff. And I said, I really don't buy all that, but I don't want to get into that here. I said, I don't think that the creator has picked any one person or race over any other. We're all equal. So I'm not going to get into that. You have a good day, though. But Matt thought, because when he saw me, he's like, man, you'd be a good one to ask. Look up and show me in the Bible. And I was like, man, I'm going to have to message him and let him know, hey, dude, like, yeah, I share Jesus calling and I do study the Bible, but I come from a very wide open-minded viewpoint. I study a lot of stuff. I know there's more to it than I just know. Yeah, I'm just meaning what I'm getting at is I'm not like I don't use even the term Christian to label myself. If I was to say if I use that term, I'm going to say I'm a Christian mystic. I'm into the esoteric side of things, the mystical side. I do know a lot about, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not like, I don't come from like I was raised to believe traditionally, but I explore. No, I know he's a good dude. I'm just wanting him to know. I think I just need to let him know, like, I, I think he thinks that maybe I'm like, more of well, no, he should know. He knows my, you know. Yeah, I remember you saying that, Betty. Now, I didn't mean to keep you on here. I was just saying, because we follow the same dude. I've been in the chat with you over on Matt's channel. He's helped support my channel. He's helped me get some subscribers anytime he shouted out. A few people always subscribe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I may go to a church pretty regularly. Like sometimes I miss quite a bit, and then I'll start. But I even if I miss a few weeks, I still go like pretty frequently. But at the church I attend, there's a lot of things that I couldn't talk about because they would automatically think they would think I'm possessed or that I'm, being steered the wrong way. And I don't like getting into all that because I don't have to prove nothing to nobody. So that being said, moving forward, also in my Great Cloudy Day channel, I'm going to try to get back to doing some videos that are because like I've gotten to where the only real video I'm doing is Jesus Calling and the rest is shorts. I used to just do videos just free, like I just would have something on my mind and I'd just record and I'd just be blah, 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 blah. But it'd be about something. And it'd be like esoteric or discussing things that were like, right, everybody wants to. The way my faith is based on what my personal experience is and what the Creator actually has shown me and everything. Like I know that the Spirit has told me many a times, read between the lines. When you're reading scripture, you have to do that. You have to be able to question some of it because if you don't, I believe blind faith is just believing whatever you've been told instead of actually experiencing firsthand that there is something, that it is there, that it is guiding you. And if you listen, you'll hear or you'll see the signs everywhere. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I was never satisfied with just because you tell me it's true and I read like, okay, to me, you have a person for me to, it wasn't until I experienced firsthand something answering prayers in the moment within minutes of saying, I need help or this and that all the rest of my life after 25, never questioning that part again. No matter how many drugs I did, no matter how much drinking I've done and still struggle with or any of that. I never questioned the existence of the Creator or the big kahuna. But, yeah, well, I've done some studies and been learned about some of the books. Apparently, they were trying to authenticate whether, and so I don't know how you figure out that one is authentic and the other one ain't. Because there's a book of Judas too, but it's not like actually written by Judas, obviously. But yeah, like when I'm reading scripture, I mean, I don't want anybody that watches my channel to think that I'm some, but when I'm reading scripture, there's things there that I sometimes see that everybody else is so convinced. Like, I'm not going to get into it right now. There's no reason to. I try to, but I believe there's certain things altered to keep people ignorant so that the powers that be that do know about certain things can continue to control. So that's it. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. Hey, that's a good conversation. I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad, to share that. I don't mind sharing that. I just like what I'm going to try to do is I'm trying to think of like, I want to do some freeform videos. I'm still trying to get back to finding something that if that's either another Christian, either continuing Jesus calling. But I mean, went through the entire thing on the channel, and I'm in repeat. But it doesn't matter. I either want to find if I can find another devotional that's Christian also that's in a similar fashion, I might get that and just start doing that one as far as to make up for the Jesus calling. But I want to find another book that I can share on the channel and read periodically in videos. Kind of like if you haven't seen it, I'm doing like shorts that are up to 3 minutes long from the Fifth Agreement, which is Toltec wisdom. You can find a playlist called the Fifth Agreement, and I don't remember which one, if they're all in order, but I don't know. I just add them to the playlist, and I don't know how it arranges it. But I'm doing it in small segments because that book it's a lot to digest, especially if your mind's not real open yet. Yeah, I'm going to have a good day if I can. I hope you have a good day. And you know how we say it here, ditto. I mean, I don't know if you understand. I end all my videos with ditto, Ditto equals I love y'all. Or love you, in the memory of Sarah. So we had, let's see here. Cool. Well, I've had, it's looking like I've had maybe one or two people. I'm thinking it's showing that maybe one person is still viewing from YouTube. I know Betty was here, so that should have been a couple, made it two. There's been 10 people at least look at what I'm doing on X, so I don't know. Nobody on X is now. Oh, I know what the problem might be. I didn't know. I didn't think about that. Good God. I don't think there's any way I can do this now. Hold on. Okay, cool. Well, I know the chat was working on X, so apparently it looks like someone just scrolled by. They might have watched for a second, maybe a second or two. So that counts as a view on X. And maybe some of you people on X, maybe some of the people on X actually watched. I don't know. More than likely, I probably won't do this much more again. I really don't understand. Like, there's a lot of followers on X, but like, if I'm streaming over to X while I'm on YouTube, if people aren't going to interact much, if they're just going to scroll by, see it for a few seconds, it counts as a view. Then I don't know if it's worth. Like, I mean, I could do restream streams through when I do my X only streams, and like, I don't know. Anyway, I did put a link on X if somebody was curious and wanted to come on and be on screen with me, whether they're showing their face or they got an avatar. But nobody has hit that link or anything. I didn't share it in a DM group though. I didn't go and share it in the DM. I don't see any point in that. I don't think. Well, sometimes I'll share it, but it's kind of like just screw it. It ain't gonna hurt. But I'm reaching about 43 minutes. And once again, anybody that is watching, I appreciate you watching. Even if it's somebody that the only way if you're watching or listening and you're just not able to interact, that's real cool. I just appreciate I tend to think I know who it is that might be watching sometimes from YouTube. I think I know. I think maybe, but I might be wrong. And if you're just joining me, I appreciate you being here. Trying to just navigate through the day. Betty Spaghetti was here earlier. We were just talking. We talked about. I shared. Whoever just showed up. If you weren't here a minute ago, if you would like, I could show you. I could pull up a picture. Hold on. I was showing just a little bit ago. I pulled up an image that I sketched out this morning, and I'm gonna just pull it up again if you want to see it, since somebody just popped in that didn't necessarily might not have been here a few minutes ago. And I'm talking to. I believe there's a new viewer from that just popped in from YouTube. So I'm showing. I'm gonna upload this picture and show y'all again. I drew a mouse this morning. I drew a little mouse head, and then I drew like another mouse, the full body, and the other mouse is kind of drinking a soda with a straw. This is the third thing I sketched out, and it's a mouse, and he's got a little backpack and like a little belt, and then a little thing hanging off the belt and stuff. And I'm not a good artist or anything. I'm not like some artist that's been like, I never took drawing very seriously like I did in elementary school. I loved drawing then, but then as I got older, my thing was more writing, and then I played music, and I still like to dabble. I got this little kids kit that Mike Maranatha sent me that I play on sometimes here. Sometimes I play on live stream and stuff. And let me take this down now. Let me replace that. I'm going to show you this other. This is the mouse head that I did. Very crude, very crude. But, it is. I personally just draw for fun. It's been this past year, several months back, that I started saying, you know what, I'm going to start trying to draw a little bit every day or a few times a week every day. You know what I mean? Like, might not be every day, but at least several times a week. I just like to get my sketch pad and just kind of see what I can draw, either out of imagination, or sometimes I look at something that's maybe a comic book I'm reading. I see a panel I like. I'll look at it and see if how good can I recreate it? Or maybe I'm not recreating it exact, but it's inspiring me to draw something that looks similar. And so there you go. That's kind of, and once again, if you are, if you, I hope whoever's watching on YouTube right now, I hope you're having a good day. So that's the main thing. Until people are, like Betty was in the chat, so I could bounce off of what we were talking about. Right now, I'm just kind of like, again, in the wind here. So showing those pictures is something that I just wanted to do. I already showed a little bit of this too, the Legends of Mouse Guard, Legends of the Guard. You can see that's not what I was drawing, but this, the Mouse Guard imagery and the mice, the way they're drawn and stuff, is what made me think. Like this morning, I was like, hold on. There. This morning, I was like, man, I'm gonna draw a mouse, and I think my intention was to draw a mouse with like a sword and stuff. It turned into the mouse with the soda can, and then I drew the other mouse and decided to just make it a cute little mouse with a backpack. That being said, and then I did a little writing yesterday on my concept for Hero and Dog. kind of wished. I'm going to bet that it's probably too early for anybody. Like anybody on X is probably just like, there might be some people up. They just might not be fucking interested in. And I don't know. Like so a lot of the people on X that I know that are streamers, they're in the comic book community. So a lot of the streams they're on in their channels, particularly, are all about like either talking about comic books or other things like pop culture. So, but if they want to come on, like I've had several of those guys on, and we'll talk about all kinds of stuff. We'll talk about comics. We'll talk about movies. We'll talk about, but my streams, a large portion of what we do here is just talk about whatever's until people start showing up and interacting in the chat, or if a guest is on and we're just kind of bouncing off each other, going through different topics that's coming up. My intention is eventually to do another. I'd like to do some more streams, like me and Self-Destruct and I did a stream a while back where we were breaking down a certain video that was kind of about some conspiracy stuff, but it's not conspiracy anymore. It was like factual stuff. But we had played a little bit of a copyrighted song at the beginning for too long, and so it didn't take the video down. It just, if I had been monetized, it would just mean I didn't make money. And then like a dumbass, I just went ahead and took the whole damn live stream down. So Cynic and I was talking about that the other day. I would like to do some streams where we decide on something, like maybe have a couple of ideas, because Cynic's really cool and he's got a computer. I'm on a phone, if anybody doesn't understand that. So on his end, when he's streaming with me, he's able to go into the computer, pull up something off of YouTube if we want or whatever, and we can, give commentary on it. He can pull it up. I can pull it up as a full screen, and it put us to the side, and we can sit and talk about that kind of stuff. So, and then once again, like I said, I appreciate whoever is watching. I appreciate you guys being here. I'm trying not to think about, am I doing something wrong when I'm streaming? Because it's like, I don't know, man. Like yesterday, it was like weird. Like I streamed for 40 minutes. It was like 3 or 4 people had their eyes on me, and not a single person ever said anything. But I maintained it for 40 something minutes, and then it was just like right now I'm like almost to an hour. But of course, I've had interaction. Like Betty actually interacted, and also I'm on X, and people are watching over there. But you know what I mean? So I'm starting to get to the point where, do I do the same thing? Like, do I need to, because yesterday, so I streamed for 40 minutes and realized, because sometimes people can't interact. I have people that watch me and they're at a job, so they're not maybe they're not watching, but they're listening. Like I said before, I've had people that tell me they're watching from a TV and they can't interact. They can just watch and hit like. So I understand that. It's just that at some point I have to assess like if I'm just going to be on here streaming and it's only to myself just babbling about any wide range of topics, at some point I start going, okay, well, I've kind of just said enough, The rewatch value of a live stream, I think, increases if you have people come in as a guest and stuff. Like if somebody used the link and come in and then it's on here with me talking, I believe we might have more people interested in maybe not watching at this moment, but after the fact, because when I do a stream with someone, I'll go back and retitle it. Like if I didn't know they were going to be on it in the beginning and they come on afterwards, I'll retitle it so that I put who was with me on there. And that usually brings, a few more people after the video, after we've done streamed and it's uploaded. People tend to watch them and stuff. I mean, not a lot. Usually the first day or two after a live stream I get is when it's got it increases the views, and then it's pretty much going to kind of be dead after that. So, and I'm just sitting here, waiting to waiting on Monday for payday and stuff. Just trying to scratch through till then to try to, I'm getting down on pretty close to bare minimum on some of the things. I got like 2 pork chops and a couple of frozen dinners. So I guarantee you I'll be going to the grocery store Monday if I get paid. Okay. So the question is, do I continue to stream or do I not? That would be, I think that's the question. I'll be right back. See, sometimes I drift away to a new place. Well, I fall to sleep and I'm losing grace. Wished I could open my eyes and see his face. The glory of the Spirit in my day. The glory of the Spirit in my day. The glory of the Spirit, the glory of the Spirit in my day, and my life I say, oh, let's just be okay today. Maybe we'll get by in some way, I don't know. But they say, I don't have a clue. Hey, the glory of the Spirit today. The glory of the Spirit today. Now, that was completely on the spot. That was completely all improv. I mean, of course, the beat is something I pretty much do pretty regularly, but the words were not pre-written. You know, I'll have to go back in this stream once it's uploaded and try to snippet what I can out of it into a short. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to research today and see if I'm doing something wrong when I'm trying to. There's got to be a way for me to be able to make more than a 15 minutes. In my live streams, it seems when I ask to remix a segment into a short, it only allows me to do it up to 15 seconds. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, why I couldn't clip up to 3 minutes into a short. Seems like I should be able to. So that's something I have to research and see if I can do. But it's 11:07 and I'm almost to an hour, but nobody's here except for one person. Appreciate you watching. I appreciate whoever that is that continues. You know, that's cool because even if you're not listening, and you could be a subscriber that just really wants to support me. You might just have it on. You not be busy. You're not able to actually listen or any of it, or you're hearing it, but you're in doing whatever you're doing. But the fact that you have it on pretty much the entire time, that gives the live stream more watch hour, watch minutes. You know what I'm saying? The longer someone's watching the stream, the longer that's going to count as watch time. So that's definitely appreciated. Knowing that somebody, you know, if they're because like if I know there's actually one person, even if you're not able to interact, if I know you're there watching, then I'm doing something that's, you know, even if it's just so that it helps my channel increase its watch time, that's still cool. But at this point, I'm trying to determine whether this is about, do I need to end this, go about my day, see what else I can do right here in this day, and then see how I'm feeling a little later if I want to stream later. There might be some people that might want to stream later. You know, they might hit me up or I can hit them up. Anyway, I think that's probably a sign. Probably different if I had the ability to pull up something. Let me see. Oh, I know what I can do. I think I know what I can do. I don't know if I'm able to. Oh, I'm trying to figure out. Anyway, I was thinking that, am I able to go in and click my own link that would take me into my own studio, but as a guest, which would create another window for a camera, or if I had something I could share. And I don't know how I would do that on the phone, because if I could pull up like maybe something like a video that we could talk about, I would do that. I might need to research and see if I can do any of that from the mobile. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to end this. Appreciate you watching. I may go live here in a little bit again, like I did yesterday, because I'm having, like, the energy's been real good lately. You know, like I can say I'm not sure. I think I'm just a couple of days away from being completely 2 weeks without a drink. And that being said, that day I drank, well, I had skipped a day and then did it again on that Monday. So it'll be Monday, I'll be 2 weeks. But prior to that Monday, I didn't know on Sunday, and then Saturday I had done it. But like that week leading up to that weekend, there was like a 4 or 5 day bender. Prior to that, I'd had several weeks again. And then, before that, it was months. So it's like I just continuously, like every so often, I just have a brain fart and think that I can still, you know, convince myself that I think it's okay to take a drink. And then before I know it, 3 days have gone by and I've just pretty much not done anything. So I was talking about this yesterday, that I am very grateful, or I might have been talking about it this morning. I think it was on the Great Cloud Stalks video. This morning I was talking about, I'm grateful that every time I do, because I'm not going to call it a slip up. It's a conscious choice every time. It's not like I'm making a real mistake. I'm consciously making a bad decision. But I'm able to reel myself back in. Whereas in the past, anytime I tried to sober up, if I had a little bit of time under my belt, anytime that I did go back, it would be a long time before I ever would be, clear-headed again. So, and I'm talking about alcohol, not marijuana. I smoke marijuana just as a disclosure. People see me do it on the streams. I don't mind, but I don't promote it. It's not something I'm trying to tell everybody else they need to do. But, and if anybody has a problem with that, because they see me reading from a Jesus Calling video and stuff, and they think that I got to be a certain way, you might want to get yourself checked. I have a good relationship with the Big Kahuna and the Creator, and the way that I utilize some things is my business and my way of my own personal spiritual beliefs. Nobody has to believe me. You can think it's all just about having a buzz, but it's not always about that. It's about enhancing my consciousness or bringing it to a certain level where it's just, although sometimes I have to, slow down and take a break. Like, anything can be done too much. There's that old saying, when the ritual becomes habitual. So, it's like some things, go from being a ritual to being a habitual act rather than, treated with sacredness. Well, I'm going to end it, hopefully everybody that watched was entertained or whatever. I fucking don't know. And pardon all the cussing, I don't cuss that often on the video or even in my live streams. Sometimes I do. I don't really. I'm just saying, I know there's viewers that watch my videos and they don't probably, so like if they don't know, all they know is from the video and they come into a live stream and they see me smoking pot and maybe cuss some, they might be like, whoa, I thought, because I'm reading a Jesus Calling devotional. Well, shit, I'm human. I'm a spirit in a human flesh, and I miss the mark every freaking day. So, you know what I mean? Like, people are quick to think they know somebody, and then, I do it myself, making prejudgments, thinking, especially if you have an image of someone in your mind of what you think they are. Like if it's someone that's watching me on camera and they think they know me because they interact in my comments all the time and all that or whatever, but yet they really don't know me. And then if you're just basing it on the videos you've watched, but you've never seen me in a live stream, and you come into a live stream and you're like kind of shocked because I might be using some foul language or smoking a joint or something, then, it's like, there's nothing I can do about that. It's like, I've never hid who I am or what I'm doing or not doing. It's like, sometimes I might not talk about every single detail. But usually if I've struggled with my drinking, I might not talk about it right in the middle of my drinking cycle. But as soon as I'm getting my head clear again, I'll talk about it. I'll share it with people. I'll be like, well, the reason that I haven't done videos quite as much, or I haven't live streamed, I'm struggling with some shit and I got some stuff going on. I'm dealing with reality in the wrong way. So like I've never, like, I'm not trying to I want this channel to be about my life and my experiences, you know, with my creator and my walk and the way that I do things and communicate with the spirit is differently than some people. Everybody has their own personal relationship. And then some people don't, you know, some people, their relationship is that they don't believe in any of it. So, and that's totally fine too, if someone don't want to believe in anything. I mean, it's their business. You can't twist someone's arm and make them believe in anything. You can't say in any amount of words anything that's going to convince anything of that nature. It doesn't matter. If someone hasn't had, me and Betty were talking about this. If you ain't had a deep personal experience with some kind of spiritual awakening of some sort, where you never had to question again whether there was something create, you know, like it might not be that you understand it, but the moment that you have that experience where you're like, there is something and it's there. Once you cross and have that experience, you don't go back. You can't not. It's like you cross over from believing to knowing without a shadow of a doubt. And no matter how many words I tell you, I can't prove any of what I know to be true to you. Any words I use is not going to prove it to you. You might understand it. You might comprehend it. But if you haven't had some sort of similar personal relationship or experience where you had that kind of moment of like, oh man. And it doesn't mean that when you finally figure out that it's real, that your life completely changes and you're like completely straight and narrow the entire time. Things happen. Like, you know, it's just part of the journey. But I can be comforted that in that my life is going to be okay, because I know there is something that came before here and something that's after this physical plane. But I'm right in the middle of it right now. Like we're in the middle of infinity. Infinity just keeps looping. We're just in the segmented time frame of it because of our human minds. Okay, guys, y'all have a good day. I'll try to go live here in a little bit again and see if anybody else might come on or more people might come on and, you know, want to talk and stuff in the chat. I'm going to wish whoever's watching a very good day, rest of your day. If you see me on here later, I appreciate if you were here. And, you know, Gray Cloud Sage of the Eternal Moment, over and out.